to, from the day that this fight was made, she said, I'll do press. I'll do press leading up to the event, and she went and did the talk shows and did all that stuff, and this is the way she wanted to do it. So I said, okay. I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out and go from there.
You're not happy about this, right? This is not an ideal circumstance.
No, it's definitely not ideal. It's what she asked for, and I said, like I said, back in the day, Ronda would literally do anything we asked her to do, anything. And if the guys wouldn't do something, she would pick up the ball and do it herself. So for her to ask for something like this, how can I say no? She's done a lot. Done a lot.
Dana, are you concerned that you're coupling that though with the fact that the fight's on a Friday? Like by combining the two, is that?
There are a lot of things that suck about this. Yeah, it's yeah, we're in a pretty crazy position, but she's one of the greatest ever to do it. She's done a lot for this company. She's done a lot for the sport. She's done a lot for women in the sport, and this is what she asked for. So she never asked for much. She asked for this, and we said yes.
Well, she's being never doing this if she wants it for another fight.
No. This is a one and done.
So have you talked to Ronda? Because the great question everybody's asking is how is she doing? Because nobody knows anything about her.
Yeah, I've talked to her every day.
So
she's great. She's very good.
her mind.
Her everything. Her everything is good. She's ready to roll. She's ready to fight. She's in a great mood. Yeah, it's all good. Ronda Rousey's done a lot. Done a lot. Done more media than anybody ever in the history of this company. Major media that nobody else could get, and she did it all. And this is something she asked for. It doesn't open floodgates. It doesn't change anything. If somebody shows up, doesn't want to show up for a press conference, I'll pull them from a card. Say that? I think everybody knows that Ronda is psychotically competitive, and I don't know why this is the way she's handling all this, but this is what she wanted to do, And like I said a million times, for a woman who's given as much as she's given to the sport and to this company, it's really not much to ask for, She's as good as I've ever seen her. I mean, you guys have seen her pictures of her and stuff. She's physically in amazing shape. She's in great spirits. She's fired up and she's ready. She's like the old Ronda, but she just had to deal with this whole thing the way that she wanted to deal with it.
Can you talk a little bit about Amanda, the importance, because she broke so many records as well, She was the first, for Brazil especially, she was the first Brazilian one to sign with the UFC. Now she's the first gay champion fighter
Right.
in the UFC. Can you talk a little bit about Amanda? What about her, how important she is for the company?
Yeah, no, listen, Amanda Nunes is one of the sweetest people ever. I mean, she's great to work with. She's easy to work with. She just kind of rolls with it, Never once when everybody was saying, oh, she's not, being treated with respect and in the spots and all this other stuff. Never complained about anything. Amanda Nunes gets it. First of all, Amanda Nunes is going to get pay-per-view on Friday night, number one. And number two, like I said a minute ago, Amanda Nunes wins on Friday, everybody will know who Amanda Nunes is. You know what I mean? It's going to be this is the biggest fight of her life, financially and in every other way it could possibly be big.
Talking about Kings and Verdom and GDS, because we didn't have the whole story. We had all the points of view there in Brazil. One day saying that they didn't offer GDS. What really happened in that case?
With what?
With
Cain and Verdom?
Yeah, Cain Verdom, and then GDS said that they offered him the fight, but then Verdom said that they never offered him.
Verdom has turned down 2 fights.
One of them was
JDS, yeah. Verdom turned that fight down.
And the other one?
There's different ways to turn fights down. I can call and say, hey, you want this fight? No, I don't want this fight. Or you can say, yeah, for $800,000 in a piece of pay-per-view. That's turning down the fight.
So the one was GDS and the other one, can you say who was?
Yeah, then we offered him a fight with, I think, Alistar Overeem in Brooklyn, and he turned that down too.
Did you say why?
Nope, he didn't.
And have you talked to Cain since this whole situation, and how is he holding up? Because I know he's a little frustrated.
Talk to who?
Cain Velasquez, after what happened, him being pulled off the card.
Why is he frustrated?
Well, obviously he wanted to fight, and the interview came out. And
Sounded like it in the interview. Sounded like he really wanted to fight. Read the interview. Doesn't sound like he wants to fight to me. When you're a fighter and you do an interview days before a fight and say, you can't stand for 10 minutes, that's insanity. First of all, it's the best organization in the world for fighting. He's fighting one of the best fighters on earth, and that fight lasts 15 minutes. And if you can't stand for 10 minutes, what are you going to do in a fight against one of the, you know how irresponsible it would be, not only for the UFC, but for any athletic commission to allow that fight to happen? It absolutely makes no sense, you know? And I love Cain. Cain's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But if you read that article, it does not sound like he wants to fight.
Do you think he kind of was looking for a way out?
I think that that interview happened, and I think he was honest. Maybe he didn't really think that would happen, that you know what I mean? Every fighter, I mean, you guys have been watching these fights for 16 years. Every time a guy loses a fight, he gets up there and goes, yeah, my back is broke. Oh, I blew my knee out 2 weeks ago. I twisted my ankle. After the fight, you say, you know what I mean? If you go in before a fight saying those things, you will be taken out of the fight.
He said he had surgery scheduled and the UFC knew about it.
He said what?
He had a surgery scheduled after a fight and he let UFC know about it.
That's right. So his doctor said he had a surgery. He was dealing with pain, which is completely normal for the injury. He was dealing with pain and he was just going to have the surgery after the fight. What he didn't say is, I can't stand for 10 minutes. You know, I can't do this. And even Jeff Davitsky was there, said he was having trouble sitting up and standing down, standing up and sitting down at the doctor's office. So there's no way in hell that guy should be fighting right now.
Is Verdom gonna get the purse or like any money from this? Or
Is what?
is Verdom gonna get his payment for the purse for the fight? Or
Why would you get the payment for the purse if you're not fighting?
I'm just asking because the fight was.
Don't go to work for a month and see if they pay you. Well, the thing is, you know, in my opinion of it, you know, nobody was complaining about Edmund when she was on a tear, beating people in record time, you know, and then she loses the fight, and, you know, that's when everybody starts pointing the finger and saying she shouldn't be there. That's her decision, you know what I mean? She's a grown woman, she's intelligent, she knows what she's doing, so.
Dana, any imaginable way at all, Floyd and Conor get in the ring? Any scenario?
Listen, I stopped saying never. Who knows? But highly unlikely. You know what I mean? I think that, I say it all the time, look how long it took for Pacquiao and Mayweather to happen. Those guys were in the same sport. So,
Two more questions.
there's nobody better. No, I'll stick around. There's nobody better at staying relevant when they're not doing anything than Conor and Floyd. They're both masters.
Does that hurt you, the fact that people keep talking about this?
Nah, listen, it did bother me until I bumped into 50 Cent and he told me that Floyd really wanted to fight him. You know, he said, no, I'm telling you, he wants to fight him. Whatever.
Do you think a win by Ronda or fighting secure her as the greatest women's martial artist, hands down, no debate, she gets the belt back again?
Well, I think that's the case right now anyway. I mean, if you look at how many times the belt has changed hands since she lost it, you know, she still is, you know, right now. Amanda Nunes has the opportunity, you know, to win on Friday night and then continue to, you know, defend the title and make a name or a mark for herself. So we'll see how that thing plays out.
And you see her sticking that past 2017, win or lose.
And did what?
You see her sticking past 2017.
Yeah.
win or lose.
She's gonna.
What about the
Well, if she loses, I don't know what she's gonna do. If she wins, she's definitely.
What about the reports about Khabib and Tony potentially fighting in Russia? I'm not sure what timeline that would be, but also for like an interim title.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, that's true.
No.
What about the interim title fight?
What I did say, yes, that's true. So we were trying to make that fight. Tony said he will not do that fight unless he makes the same exact money that Khabib makes. Khabib has a different deal. So that ain't happening. So count that one out. And it was never supposed to be in Russia. What I said was, we're doing a lot of things in Russia right now, and the next time Khabib fights, I'll do a press conference in Russia.
You make the case, like, why can't Tony ask for the same amount of money? Like, what is...
He has a contract that he just signed.
How long ago?
Not long ago.
So is that it?
There's a thing where these guys, I honor every contract, no matter what it is. I get into some shitty deals too. You know what I mean? You got a guy that's making tons of money, but he was a champion, and that was the deal I cut. I cut that deal, and I signed it, and I gotta live with my deal. You know what I mean? And if you ever see some of these older guys, whether it be Dan Henderson, whose numbers piss everybody off for some reason, right? All the fighters are pissed off about Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson's been in this sport for 100 years. You know what I mean? And the guy has a couple fights left. So should I cut him and cut his contract in half? Well, it might be the last deal the guy ever has. And it was the last deal he ever had. You know what I mean? This is one of those businesses where you don't look at Dan Henderson and go, guy was a pioneer. Guy was an animal, would fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. Good for him. It's good to see Dan Henderson make some money. No, I go, what I get from these guys is, did you see what Dan Henderson made? Dan Henderson sucks. There's no way. This is the that I get with these guys. You know what I mean? And I'm like, listen, if you can stick around as long as Dan Henderson has and fight the guys that Dan Henderson has, then maybe you'll be making Dan Henderson money too. You know? But when you sign a deal, you honor your deal. You know, or you at least get to a point, you know, because most guys never make it to the end of a UFC contract. They'll get within 3 fights, and then we want to sit back down and start talking, right? You can say, no, I don't want to sit down and talk yet. I'm gonna ride this thing out, and I'm gonna become a free agent, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna test the market and see what I can bring in. And guys have done it. Ben Henderson did it. The other kid, huh? Roy McDonald. I wasn't thinking him, but yes, Roy too, and
Lorenz Luck.
Yep, Lorenz Luck. All these guys. I mean, ride the thing out, and become a free agent. But honor your deals. I have to honor all my deals. Imagine if I didn't honor a deal, you guys would be fucking all over me, man. Right? Oh my God, he didn't honor that deal with this guy. And as far as these guys that they look and start, I hate when guys start counting other people's money. You know, the other one is Alistair Overeem. And everybody's pissed off at what Alistair Overeem means. Alistair Overeem's been around forever. The guy's earned his way up, and that's his deal. You know, nobody feels happy for anybody. Everybody counts everybody else's money and wants to rip up a deal after we make a deal.
So are you moving on from?
Talk a little bit about Cyborg issues.
About what issue?
Cyborg.
Cyborg?
Yeah. How surprised was you all the news out there?
Well, you know, I thought it was weird when she kept turning down fights. We created a 145-pound division. She kept turning down fights. First she said she couldn't make the weight in 8 weeks. Then she said she couldn't make the weight in 11 weeks, you know? And, you know, if she was having health problems that were that bad, she should have brought it to our attention. And, you know, when she kept turning down fights, when that thing came back, I wasn't shocked. It made more sense on why she didn't want to fight for the 145-pound title. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Do you have a comment about Josh Barnett as well? I mean, I know it's still in the potential stage.
I don't know enough about it, yeah. I know it happened yesterday, but I don't know enough about it. Call Nowitzki. Nowitzki will have all the information on that.
What's the clarification on Conor's schedule? When do you expect him to fight next?
Conor, the last conversation that Conor and I had, he was taking 10 months off. So everybody keeps talking. I'm not even thinking about Conor. Conor is not in my plans for the next 10 months at all.
Unless he calls you a clerk.
Listen, we run a business where we make fights. I know who's available. I know who's not available, right? Conor told me I'm not available for 10 months. We're having a baby. My girl stresses out when I fight, and I don't want to put that on her while she's pregnant. love it. I respect it. I get it. Do your thing, buddy. And that's it. He's not in any of our plans for the next 10 months.
What about Aldo though? He's talking about maybe fighting for the interim title, lightweight, or
Yeah, so we were trying to make these, we were trying to make a bunch of fights here, and you know, guys. That's why one of the things that I always talk about Conor, when I say about Conor, you guys could never really comprehend or understand because you're not really in it. These guys all act like they want to fight somebody until they get the call. Hey, you want to fight this guy? You want to fight that guy? You'd be very shocked at how many guys turn down fights and don't want to fight. Conor McGregor will fight anybody, anywhere. It's the truth. It just really is. That guy doesn't care.
But is it true that Jose Aldo is trying to move up to lightweight division?
No. Would he? Yes.
He was saying
Yeah, but
that.
he was saying that he asked for Khabib
He did ask for Khabib.
and Ferguson.
No, he asked for Khabib. He wanted to fight Khabib. Because Khabib's looked at as the guy in that weight division. He wanted to fight him.
And then what
And
happened?
Khabib's dad didn't want him to fight. Khabib's dad wants him to rest.
But is it true that he wants to fight for the light heavyweight interim title?
The lightweight, yes.
And you guys are up to do it?
Love to do just about anything. I mean, it depends on, I like that fight. Khabib and Jose Aldo would be fun.
Are
I'm
you
in.
are you done with Khabib and Tony though? Is that off the table now completely?
Khabib?
Khabib
Yeah.
and Tony, that's off the table.
Yes.
And Khabib and Aldo off the table as well?
Yeah, well, Khabib's dad wants him to rest. So, yeah. Did what? No, this is because Ronda Rousey isn't here. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. We'll see how much crazy comes out of this scrum and how much more work it makes for me. Cyborg, you talk shit about me and Tony, I would have done, it's gonna, trust me. I'm gonna have to deal with this for the next 2 months after doing this scrum, so. Huh? Oh, this was not my idea. It's one over there.
Daniel, how do you feel about 208? Is there any way you can see her Ronda fight at 145 in 2017?
Well, yeah, obviously, the plans that I had for 145 were just all, it was, it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. Both those girls wanted to fight Cyborg, right? And if stylistically, they're both great matchups for Cyborg. I actually like both of those fights. Jermaine and Holly are both great fights for Cyborg. Cyborg got her 145-pound title in her division, and it all blew up on me.
How do you just awarded the belt like you did Ronda before she fought?
What's that?
Why do you just award like you know we wrote the 135 division? Ronda was already reinstated as the champion. Why did you do that for level?
Well, there were different circumstances under the Cyborg situation, obviously.
Do you, if you could do it over again, would you handle the Cyborg situation differently? Would you just go ahead and make 145 and see
Well, if you were in the discussions when she came on board, she was 100% into cutting down to 35. And she met with Lorenzo. Her and Lorenzo met, and they had conversations, and her plan was to get to 135. Obviously, that's the money division, you know what I mean? Even at 145 pounds, it's not really the money division, but maybe she could have turned it into something. Maybe she, but that was never the original plan. Listen, Holly and Jermaine will be a good fight. It's a good fight, and I don't know. I got to see this. The wheels are already in motion, so I just got to see how this thing plays out and go from there.
Is the UFC going to add extra weight classes in 2017 beyond that one?
No. That was never the plan to do that one either. But now we're in, so we'll see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe one of these two will win the belt, and we'll find a contender, and I don't know. We'll see how this whole thing plays out, though.
Dana,
Is what? Right now it is. Yeah.
Dana,
Huh? Lorenzo don't want to hear this shit. Lorenzo's out in his boat somewhere in Panama. We talk all the time. I talk to him a few days a week. But not about this? Sometimes about this. No, I really haven't gone to Lorenzo for anything since the Chris Weidman deal. You know, Chris Weidman and Lorenzo, Chris and I met and we couldn't come to an agreement. And he felt that he and Lorenzo had been further down the road on talks about a new deal. So I thought it was only fair for him and Lorenzo to finish it. So I called Lorenzo and I said, listen, the right thing to do is for you to finish this deal with Weidman. I said, do what you want to do and I'll honor it. But don't get crazy, man. Don't get crazy. And he got it done. He got it done. Chris literally left dinner with me in New York, flew to Lorenzo's house, hung out with Lorenzo for a while, and then flew back to New York. And we had a deal.
David, what do you say about the critics or the claims generally that Ronda's got preferential treatment because of the WME conflict of interest, that because she is one of their clients, she's going to get...
WME has nothing to do with what I'm doing over here. Listen, WME is obviously, you know, the new owners of this thing and whatever, but
it's not true.
I'm still doing everything. Ari Emanuel and Patrick Whitesell are not involved in anything to do with the fights that are being made. They're not involved in the production of the UFC or anything. Everything is exactly the way it was. So, you know, if you look at what Ronda has accomplished, what she's brought to the table and what she's done, she doesn't deserve, you know, one time to do it the way that she wants to do it. She absolutely doesn't. It has nothing to do with WME. That deal was made between me and Ronda, you know? So that has nothing to do with it. Okay. All right. I guess Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt are waiting for you guys.
Anything else you want to tell us?
No, listen, I think that, you know, it's the end of a great, crazy year. And I love this card. I've been excited for this card for a while. And, you know, I know it's unfortunate that you know, the way that this is going down with Ronda, because she's awesome to talk to and she's always got some good shit to say, but her head's in the right place and she's going in against a very tough opponent on Saturday night and she's ready to roll. So I loved the show that we did in Toronto, man. I love that show. One of my favorite shows we've ever done. And I called Ari and I go, we got to put this thing on Fox. We got to get this thing on Fox. I want this to air on Fox, on Big Fox. And then I called Eric Shanks. Shanks said, let me work on it. You know who got it done? Ari got it done. That thing aired on Christmas Eve because of Ari. Ari made that happen. And look at the results. You know what I mean? That thing killed it. It's the second biggest show behind the first show we ever did, which was like 10 million viewers. This thing did 5 million viewers.
How difficult was that because you have the pay-per-view schedule still going on, right?
Yeah, well, thanks to the, you know, pay-per-view guys let me do it. You know, I made the pitch, and they agreed that thing should be on big TV, and we did it. It was a home run. Would have never happened without Ari. Ari got it done. Yeah, I think that's going to be an ongoing thing on Christmas Eve. But it makes sense, you know, if you look at, seriously, Christmas Eve, try and watch TV. It's all the same shit. There's Christmas specials, and, you know, a movie everybody's seen 100 times with the kid with the gun just shooting an eye out. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, it's literally the same stuff that we've been watching our whole lives on TV, and then you go with a UFC event that night. It makes sense. You know, even if everybody probably has people over, you know, for Christmas Eve, and what better to have as background TV than UFC that night. It's perfect. It really is perfect. So.
Would you consider doing a live one?
Huh?
Would you consider doing a live one?
No. That would be the worst thing to do to my employees ever. These guys already work so hard and do so many. I gotta surprise everybody. Christmas Eve, we're doing a show. That would suck for everybody. But we can, with what happens throughout the year, we can put together a really good end of the year show for Fox. Yeah, you know, I think that all the greats throughout history, you know, you have to look. They've all lost. Ali's lost. Tyson lost. You know, if you go through the list of all the greatest fighters that have ever lived, everybody has lost. it's always interesting and exciting to see if they can overcome and come back from a devastating loss like hers was.
Can you clarify your comments about Diaz? Because years ago you were on the record saying he should stay lightweight. Now you're saying he's too big for lightweight.
I said he should stay at lightweight.
Yeah. Yeah. But you, how do you feel about it now?
He's a massive 170 pounder too. Massive. He is bigger than you. No, he's bigger than you.
He's so not bigger.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh,
super
yeah.
not. Nick's not bigger. Much less than me.
They're both bigger than you.
We have to wrap up, guys.
Thanks, everybody.